Welcome everybody to another beautiful Monday morning. We're here with another edition of Snooze Button, Run Button's weekly morning live show. It's the day before the presidential election. My name's Kylie Theodora and I want to die. How are you, Keith J. Carberry?
Emotionally disengaged. I feel fine. Hi.
Emotionally disengaged. Spiritually disengaged. And you know what?
Here's the thing. Yeah. What?
Bowelly disengaged.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
Yeah, I'm just hooked up to a colostomy bag right now.
That sounds extra engaged to me.
No. It's just all coming out of me.
I have freed my mind. I'm freed emotionally.
Ooh, good. Sounds like you've taken some kind of new pill that's got you feeling great.
It's experimental. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Oh, tell me about it though. You can't? No.
No, I signed an NDA.
Can you tell me what color it is?
It's orange.
Ooh, the orange pill.
Yeah, I'm orange pill.
That. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just potassium.
Thought you might have gotten blackpilled for a second.
No. Well, I just expended all of my. I just expended all of my possible energy for this. During the primaries, I was watching the Democratic debates.
Oh God,
a fool's errand, and I literally was getting fevers from the stress of watching every Democratic debate. I had a fever of about 95 or 99.5.
Oh my
low grade fever. I was like shaking. I'd be watching these debates. Literally, my body was shaking.
Oh yeah, I just didn't watch them because
But that's where I am now because the only thing that really could have changed the only thing that could have turned the Titanic wheel of America's helm. It's past. I just feel like we're quibbling about at which angle the Titanic will strike the iceberg.
Oh God, I know.
and so I'm just like, I guess blackpilled. I guess I'm blackpilled.
All right. Yeah.
I guess I'm a doomer. I think doomers are important. I think we give. I don't know if you've heard people say like, "Oh, don't be a doomer."
Thank you.
Doomers are very important. It's very important to have someone thinking about the actual worst case scenarios for things. It's like, oh no, don't be a doomer. Don't just pretend things are 15% better than they are, and you can waste time stressing out about stupid fucking elections.
Because most of our societal problems can be traced back to being too worried and too proactive about our problems. Yeah. So really, the solution is to shut up and.
I remember I lost like 30 followers the night. I still think about this. It still makes me mad. I lost about 30. It's not that I lost followers. It's that there's people that unfollowed me over this. And I feel sad. It makes me sick that that's where America is still. Like people that have followed me for presumably a while and know my deal.
No, they could have been your 30 newest followers.
I know that at least some of them weren't because they tweeted at me before unfollowing me.
Ooh, that's okay. No one's ever done that to me before.
Do you remember when Pete Buttigieg?
No.
Do you remember when Pete Buttigieg?
Who was that?
Won Iowa.
No, he didn't. That?
Oh well, according to the numbers, he did.
Oh God, no, I didn't remember that.
The first fucking thing. The first night. You don't remember Pete Buttigieg rat fucking Iowa?
No. I remember now.
Right.
I just didn't before
you had forgotten.
It. Yeah.
Right. So while that was happening, like while we were watching the election being stolen in real time, that caucus, while it was happening, I just saw mountains of people being like, Bernie won. We know he won. Let's move on and do it in New Hampshire. Let's win it in New Hampshire. And while that was happening, the massive prevailing attitude was like, we know he won. We're secure that he's winning. Let's just go do it. Get out the vote. Bernie Sanders. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if they're stealing elections, you can't just get out the vote.
Right.
Because they're stealing elections.
Yep.
And they did the same thing in 2016.
I hope we're all enjoying our Okay, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
It's just like, I think voting doesn't matter, essentially. And so I don't really blame people who go vote.
Yeah.
Because going to vote is about the same thing as not going to vote. So it's like, go do whatever you want. Yeah.
Wait, when you say about the same thing, you mean more or less the same thing?
Right. The outcome of someone choosing to vote or choosing not to vote is essentially meaningless.
When you said about, I thought you meant like the thematic significance.
Oh,
like,
no.
It is about the same idea as not voting. I was whoa, I'm ready to hear this galaxy brain explanation of how not voting is the same as voting.
I mean, I in a way you could think of non-voters as an abstract vote for nothing.
It's certainly not a vote of confidence for the system.
Right. So like, I don't know. I just remember the feeling of dread during that first caucus and being like, oh, just like people like that was when you wanting to vote for Bernie Sanders is not going to get Bernie Sanders elected as the nominee.
No. Yeah, like that was the thing, was like last election, Bernie, I would say Bernie essentially lost by the extremely stupid rules of the Democratic primary. And then
stolen. I think it was stolen fully.
And then I don't remember enough, like it was so long ago, it's not really fresh in my mind about like how much of it was real or not. But yeah, it was like, it seemed like last time he won by the extremely stupid rules, and then this time he was even going to win by the rules, so they had to just cheat.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, but think of it this way. It's the year, what, 99, I guess, is the year. It's Al Gore and W. Bush. And Al Gore wins the presidential election.
Yeah.
Both the popular vote and the electoral college. George Bush becomes president.
Yeah. Like that was like my introduction to politics, basically.
And then 2004, not a lot of people know this, Kerry and Bush. Kerry wins. Kerry won. Kerry won that election was stolen.
What do you mean? Didn't he lose by like 100 electoral points? I mean, certainly Republicans are always doing everything that they can to cheat as much as they can, but was there like the difference? I guess the difference here is it's like the cheating that was happening this time against Bernie was like in the Democratic Party, but like how but since Kerry and Bush are different parties,
the electoral votes was 286 to 251. So not a blowout, and the electoral votes were 62 million to 59 million, so only 3 million electorally. The percentage wise, it was 50.7 to 48.3. But there were several states. This was just not highly publicized. There were several states that were extremely shady, including, and I think especially Ohio was like.
No, that's sorry, real quick. That is important. When I said like, oh, he lost by like 100 electoral points, I was doing the thing. I was doing the whole point of the electoral college, which is to forget that you can win by what seems like a landslide on the electoral college when really you've barely eked out a popular win.
Right. Yes. And didn't, I would say. John Kerry won that popular vote almost definitely.
Well, there's certainly no doubt that there was, like, just like there always is, the Republicans were throwing out, thousands of black people's votes and all their favorite hits.
Well, but okay, but so what does it mean when a Democratic Party wins in 2000 and then in basically fairly highly publicized the Florida thing where I believe they eventually allowed a like a minor recount of one county in Florida or something, and I think it was if they had counted all of Florida, or even if they had counted any other county, it would have been clear that Gore won Florida and would have won outright the popular vote and the Electoral College.
Yeah.
That happens in 2004. Look it up if you don't believe me, listeners. John Kerry wins. It basically gets steamrolled by, or they just don't cover it. They just pretend like, oh, we're just not going to look into these weird election irregularities. We're just going to say George Bush won outright. And the Democratic Party does not put up a fight at all for this. And
they didn't the whole election. That's why they nominated Kerry. They didn't do anything.
Right. It's like, what does it say about that? What kind of fucking political party just lets the other side cheat?
It
is the kind of political party that has an investment in the cheating process. That's how this works. They keep the cheating in place because they lose over and over again to Republicans, and then they get to use the same mechanics by which the Republicans cheat them to then cheat progressive candidates out of being nominated to be the president.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your.
It's just a machine. It is a factory that the American government is just a factory that produces conservative politicians.
Yeah,
as a machine designed to do this. There's no way around it. I was trying to think of what makes Joe Biden different than George W. Bush, and I couldn't come up with literally anything. They're both two stupid old men who like war and hate abortion and are racist. There's no issue that they are different on.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, the only if I'm trying to think of how is Biden different from George Bush, I'm only really thinking about the nominal things they will say in order to get different groups of people on their side, but pretty much the same.
Yeah. Wait, say it again?
Basically, if you put a Biden stump speech next to a Bush stump speech, they will sound different because they will be saying different things in order to court different groups of voters. But I don't think that makes them different people.
Right. Yeah. They are. Yeah. It's all the fact that
Bush paints. Carter Martin. Yeah. Bush paints. Sorry.
Yeah. Bush paints. Yeah. Joe Biden likes trains.
Joe Biden, actually, the big difference is Joe Biden also paints, and he's equally as bad at painting as Bush. He's just 1% smart enough to not tell anybody about it.
Yeah. So it's just the fact that these are two essentially similar politicians, the fact that George Bush is very popular among Democrats these days. I don't know if you've seen those polls.
Oh God, just fucking.
Have you not seen those?
Just fucking kill me. Well, no,
he has a majority popularity.
All year, I haven't seen. Oh God. And this is, and not that Democrats in this country weren't already brain poisoned before this, but that wouldn't have happened before Trump gets elected. These are literal tangible outcomes of the normalization of fascism.
Yeah. Well, it's also it's honest that only 42% hold a somewhat or very unfavorable view of Bush, leaving the 51. It's so 51% of Democrats say they have a somewhat or very favorable view of W. Bush. And that's honest because they also like Joe Biden, who is, again, essentially the exact same politician as George W. Bush, except that he talks to Democrats instead of talking to Republicans.
I think you and I talked about this. So, God, I can't believe we're doing this. I was gonna say
I didn't plan to talk about politics.
I know.
You brought up the election like a dumbass. No offense.
I know. I didn't mean to. It just seemed. How can you not mention it? It's the day. It's tomorrow.
I would have found it if I was hosting this episode. I would have found it extremely easy to not mention it because I don't care about it because I don't think it's an important election.
I think it's kind of important.
Well, I think it's important that it's, like I said before, we're talking about the Titanic hitting an iceberg at different angles. We're quibbling about angles.
I think the difference is more dramatic than that. I don't really think that's a fair assessment. I think the question now is, who are people going to vote for, and are those votes going to be counted correctly?
I'm fairly confident that I'll put myself out there. I'm fairly confident that Biden is going to win.
Yeah,
or at least I'm fairly confident that Biden's going to get more votes.
Yeah.
I definitely am not. I heard people talking about an electoral college blowout for Biden. I'm not so sure about that one.
I mean, I'm not either. I mean, like, it's possible only by the fact that we just talked about, like, electoral college is basically designed to create blowouts. So, like, you know,
I don't know.
But
if you wanted to explain to me the grounds on which you think that this election is important, I'm willing to listen. But I just don't see Trump and Biden different on enough issues.
I mean, Trump, dude, on a national publicly televised presidential debate, the sitting president who's up for re-election, like, shouted out a group of a white supremacist militia and told them to stand by. That's bonkers.
Yeah, those people are all still around.
I know, but we don't want that person to be the president. We want the president who the people behind him will be like, no, say that they're bad, and then he'll say that they're bad.
But then what does that do to those activated militia?
Well, it doesn't do anything, but it certainly does not make their de facto leader the president of the United States. It's a big deal.
I just don't think that's important. I just don't think that's important. I just don't think,
and I disagree.
It doesn't feel like
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Deathbot saying Biden's still looking to back up cops who back up or indirectly back up those militias. That's true. Yeah.
During all summer, during these protests around the country, like, Biden has done nothing but say what we need to do is fund cops more.
Yeah.
And not only are those cops backing up those militias directly, they're the same people.
Yeah.
Those cops are in those militias.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. Who are the fascists that were calling the Proud Boys cucks? Oh, who was that? I don't know.
Mr. Copacetic calls me a full accelerationist. That's not true. I'm not an accelerationist at all. I just don't, it's a very particular ideology.
That's not really what that is.
I just don't think that there's not a harm reduction option. I don't think.
I would say an accelerationist. I mean, I don't know. An accelerationist would have to look at Biden and Trump and try to figure out which one is more likely to lead to violent revolution, and I'm not even really sure.
I guess that's the thing. I'm not sure. Like, there's no way to know that Trump losing and Biden winning. And I don't think this is a reason to want Trump to win, but there's no way to look at the current political climate and say Biden winning won't lead to those people becoming a more radical and more violent.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
And then you take a long view and what like another Republican Democrat being elected will do to people who are willing to vote for a right-wing lunatic.
Yeah.
Like, the long-term view of another 4 or 8 years of Joe Biden could be just another Trump, or an even worse one, one who has had time to incubate.
Here's the big deal. You were asking me what the difference between Biden and Trump is. The big difference is that Biden is just another one of these stupid neoliberal shitwads who's, he grew up in and was steeped in the American political process, and he believes in it in all of its stupidity. Whereas Trump is just outright angling for fascism at all times, and in his second election he's gonna go for it so much harder. Like, I at least want the guy who doesn't actually believe that he's a fascist and the guy who's actually like, yeah, we should just do fascism, let's just get it going right now. What are we all standing around for pretending we're not doing fascism? Well, let's just do it for real.
I want to disagree. I mean, I don't want to say anything about outcomes, like what the outcome of Trump is, but I don't think I would disagree that Trump is intentionally trying to bring about fascism. I don't think he understands what fascism is.
It flows through him naturally.
I totally agree, but I also think, fascism's weird. And I think there's a lot of like debates around what
it is and what it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what are the lines? Where does fascism start and where does it end? And I've been thinking a lot over the last year about how, like, the last form of fascism that we saw in like the World War II era in Italy and in Germany and also kind of in Spain. Not kind of in Spain.
Definitely in Spain.
Definitely in Spain. It just felt like a less important one, but definitely in Spain. It's like it emerges out of democracy like the Yu Yu Hakusho egg, where you put too much negative vibes into the democracy and fascism explodes out. And I think that's perfect, a perfect analogy. And like it's just like it looks different, right? Because Yusuke had that egg, so his thing looks like what his spirit reflection is. If someone else had that egg, Pooh wouldn't have hatched from the good energy. It would have been something else, some other good thing, or some other bad thing. And so fascism has to look different when it emerges out of America than when it emerged out of Germany or Spain or Italy. All three fascist countries had very different fascist vibes from each other. And
fascism isn't something you look to another country's example to do, like, beat for beat. It kind of like it tends to naturally emerge.
Right. And it very much reflects it very much reflects the soup that it pops out of.
Yeah, like I would say, like, the way in which Joe Biden is not a literal fascist is that fascism is always, it's completely preoccupied with the idea of returning to an earlier time, whereas Biden is just this like offshoot of fascism where he's just like, no, everything we have going on right now is perfect, like modern America is just a utopia and we should keep it that way.
Isn't he also the like, they don't make things like they used to, good old days kind of guy? He just doesn't say it.
Well, he's old
on TV,
so I assume. But
I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think it's very obvious that you look at Trump and the sort of the hailstorm that surrounds him, and go like, oh, that's fascism. Very clear. Fascism could vary. What a perfect incubator for fascism this is.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's a version of a new version of fascism that could very easily just pop out of neoliberalism, like the neoliberalism that extends from.
Let's return to the golden age of neoliberalism.
Yeah, so the Clinton era, the mid '80s to now version of like Clintonian liberalism that goes from that that includes Republicans, that goes right up until like a George Bush, maybe including George Bush. Yeah. Like it's or I guess Reagan even.
That's the thing is like Clintonian liberalism, as you call it, was basically invented by Reagan. It's like that's the thing is it's like the 90s
Republican or Democrats doing Reagan.
Yeah, the 90s were a decade with a cool saxophone playing rapist as the president. And it was mostly just a response of a full 12 years of conservatism coming from the White House. Very cool.
Glorp says, I haven't heard Biden talk about any kind of golden age, good old days, not since before the vice presidency.
Well, that's because it's not in vogue right now. That's the other guy's thing.
I think actually it's extremely in vogue, but the good old days that they're talking about were 6 years ago. They're talking about the Obama days. That's their good old days.
True, yeah.
They talk about it nonstop. It's all to their detriment. Even they talk about like, can't we just make it like it's 2012 again, please?
A return to normal.
Right. Yeah.
Can't we all just return to normal?
So, so I guess like I look at the fucking sickness in the heads of liberals and like the things that they're able to believe. I mean, we're in a version of the future where like any
if Biden
real
gets
response,
elected, who do we resist?
We're in a version of America where any real solutions to tackling the COVID pandemic is just out the window. Like there's just no one talking about it. Biden has said, I mean, you saw the Biden tweet from a couple days ago where he was like, we're not doing shutdowns, we're not doing blah, we're just gonna beat the virus. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, it is like, no, yeah, we're not gonna do a shutdown, we're just gonna beat it. And it's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like there's no like and that's the 6 months ago, when the virus was actually much tamer, everyone was agreed, or at least like liberals, anyone who wasn't like a conservative, like a Trump conservative, agreed we have to do something drastic about this virus. And now it's twice as bad, and no one cares.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that can happen, fascism can emerge out of Joe Biden for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have the power to invent new reality.
Keith,
this
is that tasty new black pill you've found.
yeah. Oh yeah, I picked it up right off the ground. It tasted like tar. But this is what I was saying at the beginning. This is why doomers are important. I think it's very important to talk about the ways where fascism could very plausibly emerge out of a Joe Biden administration. If they were able to get normal ass Democrats 6 months ago who were freaking out about 25,000 cases a day of coronavirus to now send their fucking kids back to school when there's 100,000 cases a day.
Yeah.
They can do whatever. They can do anything.
Just
if they can do that.
In case anyone listening didn't know, the pandemic is about as bad right now as when it was at its worst early on, and we were all like not leaving our houses except for water.
Oh, when you say about as bad right now,
it's worse, right? It's worse, right?
It's more than twice as bad.
Wait, what? That's not what the line graphs I looked at showed.
I'll read you some numbers. In April and May, when it was at its worst, I'm looking at April 4th was 35,000 cases in a day. April 24th was 36,000 cases in a day. A couple days ago, it was 100,000 cases in a day.
Cool.
That's more than double. That's
that's
almost triple. The death rate is lower, but it's also, we're on the come up.
Yeah.
We're looking at about 1,000 deaths a day, probably, but they also changed the way that they have to report deaths, which is that it's like a governmental body that reports the death now, not like individual hospitals. So they changed the way the death reporting happens.
By the way, few months ago, I asked Keith if we should add to the description of Run Button that we're specifically a leftist podcast / YouTube channel, and Keith said no, and I don't know, man.
I still say no.
That's crazy. That's so
I didn't
wild
want to talk about this today. I just want to talk about video games.
But I know we didn't want to, but we just always do, though. That's what I'm getting at, right? Like, it just flows out of us. We can't control it.
Yeah,
well, we might as well advertise it for people that want it. I didn't mean to talk about this. Mainly, I meant to just bring up, oh boy, we're on the cusp of the thing, and like, I was basically just trying to talk about the fact that today is the only day that you can watch this stream and not know the outcome of the thing that we super don't know the outcome of.
Or is it?
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, but on the bright side, for everyone listening to this, the next time we do this show, it will have been 6 days since the election, and the news will be old hat. I mean, we'll be deep in the deliberation of the Supreme Court of how they should handle the recount. But we'll be past election
be counting mail-in ballots.
That's true, actually. That's true.
My guess.
Yeah, God, we're not. It's like we're gonna do the election thing, and it's gonna be like Trump wins, and everyone's gonna be like, "What about the mail-in ballots?" And they're like, "We don't need to count those." And then everyone's gonna be yelling about how we shouldn't just. We all mailed in those ballots so they could be counted, and Trump will be like, "No, they're fine. It's all voter fraud anyway. So just throw it out." And then the Supreme Court can be like, "Yeah, he's right." And
the thing about Trump that I feel like is that, just like just a psychotic inability to lose face, right? And that's like, I think, his driving force.
It's incredible. He can't. He literally can't be embarrassed anymore.
Which is why. But I mean, like, he's incapable of admitting that he's lost something.
Yeah,
and so for me, there's nothing more embarrassing than being a one-term president.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I don't think that he has any real political machinations, like, intentionally.
Oh, he just doesn't want to lose.
It produces something.
Yeah.
Trump being president produces something, but it doesn't come from Trump, from Trump's intentions, really. I don't think.
I know it's, but that doesn't appreciably change it at all. It's not like, oh, he doesn't mean to be the most effective fascist politician America's ever seen. He just does it by accident. Like, that's the part that scares me.
Right. Well, because it emerges from not being seen as losing and what his idea of losing is. But like, we'll see what a human being with like a chronic inability to be perceived as losing face, what it does when he's encountered with being a loser one-term president. Because that's what one-term presidents are, fucking losers.
They are super
Everyone
losers,
knows it.
Yeah.
The deck is stacked.
I am constantly
no more stacked deck than an incumbent president running for president.
That's the craziest thing, is think about what an absolutely terrible president George W. Bush is, and then like remember that like his dad his dad's dead, but his dad has to feel worse than him at Thanksgiving. He has to be like, "Oh, my son kicked my ass politically."
Actually, I think you picked an interesting one there. Because
you think he's just so proud of his boy?
No, I think that H.W. Bush.
Oh, that's
is like. I think H.W. Bush is like a puppet master kind of guy.
I was gonna say he was actually he was there the whole time. Actually,
he was there. Yeah. He was there the whole time, all the way back to when he killed JFK.
Oh shit!
He was the head of the FBI. He does not have a real answer for why he was in Dallas the day that JFK was murdered. He was the head of the FBI. I mean, what more do you want? This is the guy who lives in the shadows, who accidentally became vice president and then president. When I
accidentally become vice president.
George H.W. Bush is the world historic Dick Cheney, I think.
It's actually what the H&W stand for. It's Historic World Bush
Dick Cheney.
Cheney. The World Historic Cheney.
Yeah, I think that he is the Cheney of all time.
The W. Bush presidency had a secret Cheney.
Yeah. Yeah. He had two. Bush had two Cheneys, his dad and the actual Cheney.
Yeah, like as soon as I talked about, like, W. Bush was so much more politically successful, I remembered like, well, that way, like everybody in Bush's cabinet and his circle, it was all just his dad's friends. Like it was all, like he just,
He also lost both of those elections, like we pointed out at the beginning of the show.
But that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It would matter if you had a Democratic Party that was trying to win. I mean, they don't even try to win.
They don't even try.
They don't even try to win.
They don't even know what they're trying. They don't even know what winning is.
Why would they try to win when the Republicans do all the things they want to do anyway? They are hamstrung by having to lie to their voters to say that, oh, we actually want the good things. The Republicans are free to talk about all the actual shitty things they want to do.
I know.
They sometimes, Republicans sometimes have to lie about what those shitty, they'll say like, oh, actually cutting Social Security will end up being good for you. But the Democrats have to pretend that they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think... I think, to put it this way, I think it's easy when you grow up in America and the American political system, it's easy to hear a statement like, oh, Democrats, they're just Republicans. And then to say like, well, how, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean by that? And what we mean by that is like, the way that Republicans have found such tremendous success in like the last 20 years in America is that they stopped being dishonest about what they wanted. Like that's the thing. It's like politics are known. Everyone's lying all the time in politics. Everyone knows what they want, but they have to say something else to get votes so that they can be elected and whatever. And it's like that's the difference. Is like when Democrats say they don't want to end Social Security, they're just saying that because they know a large percentage of their voters think that. They're not being honest. When Republicans say they want to end Social Security, they're just telling you what they want to do. And like that's the difference. Is a Democrat is basically just a Republican who has decided to commit their life to getting votes from people that they don't agree with. That's all it is.
And instilling within those people the idea that like, well, we've just got to.
And I am, certainly there are people that within the Democratic Party that are not exactly the same. I genuinely think like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is great.
But I think she's fine, but I'm tentatively pro. I don't think she shares the methods or motivations of the Democratic Party in general.
No, that's what I'm saying is like, okay, she's technically a Democrat, but she's like not. This is not the she's not. We're talking about establishment Democrats. Like this is like Biden is born and bred this, and he has this is Biden. Like Biden is the embodiment of like establishment Democrat.
Yeah, I will say I do. If I had to say without equivocating. If I had to like say one person who called themselves a Democrat, I do like Ilhan Omar. She's like the only one who I would say I like without being like I like kind of, but you know.
Okay. I actually don't know. I mean, I actually don't know that much about AOC either, but I think I know even less about Omar.
I think the funny thing about Biden is like Biden.
It's more.
Biden seems to me. Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's more just like like when I say I don't know much about AOC, what I just mean is like every time I encounter her saying something, I'm like, I like that thing she's saying.
Yeah, I think that she's probably good for. AOC is the sort of person who is like wow, would have been great, like the squad thing, like wow, this would have been, I would be so enthusiastic like that if we were like 20 years in the past.
Yeah. Exactly. Like the thing about AOC to me is it's not like I don't mean to, I guess what I mean is like I totally don't mean this as like a dig at her of being like, oh, she's not that smart or special or whatever, but it's sort of like when I think about her, it's more like she just reminds me of like all of the smart, reasonable people that I've been friends with through my life. Like we both exist in this world where like the people, there are like certain realities about like about the political system that like we all understand pretty commonly that are just like totally absent from the political discourse in America. And like, you know, it's like when I look at AOC, it's just like, oh, it's someone from my high school who managed to get into Congress. Like, oh, finally somebody who I know that person, you know, like finally someone I've met who's like in politics and actually has a halfway reasonable view on the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I was going to say something about Biden before you wanted to clarify your AOC point. No, it's fine. My thing was not important, but it was like Biden is funny because he seems less corrupt than a lot of his counterparts that have like the same kind of ideology. But it doesn't make him look any better because it just makes him look like too dumb to actually get anything out of being a corrupt senator. Like when he says all these horrible things, it just seems like he actually believes them instead of like, well, he's just saying this to get money. And it's like, well, he's really old and he doesn't really have that much money.
Biden?
Yeah, I mean, he's rich. He's definitely rich, but he's one of the least rich senators for sure. And it's just like, then what is his motivation? Does he actually believe this bullshit?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, I don't believe what they say.
Well, it depends. I mean, some of this, I mean, especially now that he's the Democratic nominee, and so he has to get, supposedly, all the Democrats on his side. He's saying all kinds of wild shit he doesn't believe. But
sure. Well, yeah, but the thing that he believes in is the Democrat, like the Democrat process, which includes the lies that they tell about the things they believe, which is like, oh, we believe in science. Like, oh, do you? Like, oh, we believe in science. We believe in climate change. It's like, okay, well, you still want to do fracking and you're not going to cut oil subsidies. So then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, they believe in all those things. They just don't think it's fair to fight with the Republicans about them.
Yeah. But eventually the rest of the senators will go on to give all these, you know, these like $250,000 speeches or whatever. But Biden, I mean, he's running I guess he's running a charity scam like they all do to get his, you know, to get his family paid. I don't know. It just feels like he's been unable to capitalize on all the horrible shit that he's done over the last, you know, 60 years. And it's like, well, then what was the fucking point, man? Why did you make the world so bad if you weren't even going to selfishly get yourself paid off of it?
Yeah, and now you know why he's 90 zillion years old and mentally checked out and is still trying to become president. Well, no, he tried not to, right? Like he tried to not run.
Oh, he wanted to run. He only didn't run because he was depressed because his son died.
His son died?
Yeah, his son died of cancer.
I did not.
He talks about it all the time. He won't shut up about it.
Yeah, I just don't ever listen to Joe Biden when he speaks.
Everyone he's ever met died. That's sort of like his whole shtick. It's part of his shtick. What his shtick is that his
part of his shtick.
Yeah, his shtick is that his wife and young son died in a car accident a few decades ago, and then recently that his son died of cancer.
Right. Yeah, I've heard all this now that you.
Yeah.
And none of those sons are Hunter Biden?
No, Hunter Biden is the son that married his dead brother's wife.
Son who married his dead brother's wife. Wow. So his son married his aunt. Very quick. His son married his aunt?
No. Wait. Joe Biden has a son, Hunter. Yeah. Hunter's brother, Beau, died of cancer, and he married his wife. So he married his sister-in-law very soon after the death, I believe.
So do you think Hunter and his brother's wife gave Hunter's brother cancer on purpose?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. And I think it's obvious we didn't have to spend any more time on that. I'm sorry, everybody.
I'm seeing people in the chat not also didn't know that that Hunter Biden was having an affair with his dead brother's wife, and then when he died, they got married.
Okay, I mean, listen, like,
love knows no bounds. No, hey, no judgment.
Hey, listen,
some judgment.
Listen, I mean this, like, that is so far. Like, this is the thing. It's not even the most upsetting Hunter Biden thing I know. And it's like, and I don't mean to like fall into the political discourse yet again of like, does Hunter Biden matter or not? But like, no, I can't even imagine giving a shit about Hunter Biden right now. Are you fucking kidding me? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah. Well, the Hunter Biden thing is that Joe Biden's a senator. Senators are corrupt inherently.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden has obviously benefited from Joe Biden being senator. I think it's fairly obvious that this doesn't matter because their political opponents are the fucking Trumps. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like your son, Bennett, like you have a lazy, do-nothing, drug addict son who's just benefited his whole life from your success and off the American people and done nothing. And it's like, yeah, look at half of the president's cabinet. What are you talking about?
But at some point, isn't it like it clearly doesn't matter. It clearly doesn't matter to the Trump people that they're being hypocrites because they want Trump to win. They don't care.
Yeah, I know.
But on the flip side, the Biden people don't care either. They also would rather Biden cheat to win than have Trump win again.
Sure.
So I just refuse to make a value judgment on either side on this particular issue because and I think the Biden people are essentially right, which means that, in their own world, the Trump people are right on this too. The democratic process doesn't matter. You want your guy to win no matter what because America's not a democracy, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether they cheat to win because the votes don't count. And I think these people, they all implicitly understand this, whether they acknowledge it or not. And then what it comes down to is why can't the Democrats fight back on any of these obviously stupid fucking issues? Why do they just let themselves get steamrolled like this? It's crazy.
I would say I don't really have an answer to that. I would say the most compelling explanation that I've heard from many people over the years is like one of the biggest like the thing we all know about conservatives is that they're all hypocrites, right? They all say one thing and then just do the exact opposite the moment it benefits them or their interests.
Yeah. But we've established that the Democrats do the exact same thing.
Kind of, but I think they do it in a subconscious way they don't notice or something.
It's lies have basically a different origin point.
I think the Democratic politicians feed off of, to some extent, what their supporters want them to followers, what their followers want them to say and support. And because conservatives and Republicans in specific are so hypocritical all the time, I think a lot of Democrats, like democratic citizens, they have built up this like fear of being a hypocrite, and they are like deathly afraid of doing anything that could ever be construed as hypocritical, because there's nothing more hypocritical than being a hypocrite and accusing and chastising someone else for being one, right? This is the ultimate hypocrisy, and they're so terrified of it that they've been throwing political elections for decades.
Right, but the Democrats have cultivated that idiosyncrasy in their base. The Democrats have invented that culture and given it to the voters.
Perhaps.
How? Because the reason I believe this, and this is something I very strongly believe.
By the way, it's 11:54.
Yeah, we'll start soon. At the top of the hour, we'll switch. We'll just cut it off. We're done with politics, and we're done with this. We're gonna start the game at the top of the hour. The reason I believe this.
I'm sorry, everybody. It was just the day before the election. It just came out. What were we supposed to do?
The alternative is that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are organic political ideologies, which means that the fight between these two psychopathic parties, one of whom wants they're just like full pedal to the metal into total destruction of the American people. I will say anything that I want about the Democrats. They're liars about climate change. They don't actually want to do shit. They're liars about war. They still want to blow everything up and bomb people. But the Republicans don't lie about it. They're actively and honestly like, no, we don't want to help here. We just want this to just keep going. Like, I refuse to believe that is an organic politics. And so I just think that the things that
there's
dedicated
nothing,
Republican and Democrat voters believe has been invented from the top down. It is through, laundered through the media as knowledge. Like, people, curious people to a point, I guess, decide they want to learn about the world, and they read the news, and the news gives them this ideology that they then have and take with them, and that's the thing you're saying.
I was gonna, you said that thing about it being inorganic. I'm like, what at this point, what in American politics is organic? Like, probably nothing.
So if they're afraid to do something because of the reaction of their base, the reaction of their base is just a thing that was given to them by the Democrats themselves.
It's a feedback loop.
Right. And so they still have no one to blame but themselves, because they, they
never did.
Then, right. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I think a lot of the times it seems like the Democrats are afraid to do something. And I just don't think that's ever true, because I've seen them fighting progressives on issues. They're brutal.
Oh, well, they're not afraid to fight the progressives because they're not a threat to them.
Right. I think
they would only be a threat to them if they didn't fight them. So of course they're brutal.
Right. But I think the appearance of it being like, oh, the Democrats are cowardly, and they won't fight the Republicans on this issue. I think that's part of what the Democrat. I think that they would rather be seen as too cowardly rather than the truth, which is that they just agree.
Well, I think there's also just so they do just agree. There's also there's so many Democrat voters that also agree. Like, so many Democrats hate socialism. So it's like especially, this has been coalescing.
They think they hate socialism.
They think they hate socialism. Basically the process that has been coalescing for our entire lives since we've been born is conservative ideology consolidating and whatever, and left-leaning ideology is just continually fracturing, and so they just don't have any ability to win at this point. I think I don't even know what you could do
for the Democrats.
I don't know.
Well, I do think they're about to win, so we'll see what comes of that, but
we'll see. I'm fairly certain that more people will cast votes for Joe Biden. I'm not sure if that's going to... normally, if this was a normal election, I'd be like, oh, election tampering has, extreme limits on it, the way our elections exist right now. So,
Right, you can fudge some percentage points.
Yeah, you can fudge some percentage points, but, not in a way where, Trump's going to beat Biden. At this point, it's I don't think that would happen. In this weird reality where, the election is the same, but the quarantine still happened. You know what I mean? Whatever. But, what am I saying here? Oh, because of the pandemic, because so many absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, all this thing, now the possibility for election tampering is through the roof. It's so enormous. I don't even know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll know either way on what the what the mail-in ballots do to the possibility of election fraud. But I will say it did seem like Republicans were very gung-ho about like trying to allow as few of them to be counted as possible.
Right.
It seems like they're I mean, I hesitate to use the word. What's nervous? It seems like they're nervous about the mail-in stuff.
Nervous,
which
how?
is good. Like they're trying to stop it. I don't know that they're afraid of it, but they're like they don't.
Well, no, of course they are. They know that everybody who like Trump's base, it's increasingly.
Final thoughts, one each.
Okay. Allow me to present to you my final thought. It's well known that more of Trump supporters than Biden supporters disregard the pandemic and don't care about it, and thus will be voting in person. More people voting for Biden will be mailing in ballots. Everybody knows this, including the Republicans. It's why they're trying as hard as possible to not count as many of the mail-in ballots as they possibly can. And I was saying that next week when we do this show, I said we'll know the outcome, meaning that we will either know if Trump won or Biden won. And then you brought up the other possibility that I think is actually the most likely scenario, which is next week by this time, we will be deep in some kind of like 2000-esque like post-election like unclarity. There will be some issue whether they're still counting ballots, whether the results are disputed, or what the fuck's going on. I'm almost positive next week we won't know who's going to be the president in January. That's the end of my thought.
Final thoughts for me. I think the world's bad. I think the United States is most of the reason why the world is bad.
Only because they inherited it from the older, badder countries, or not badder,
sure.
But the other. They're just the latest in a line. It's just the new English empire.
Right. Yes. It's the snake of power that passes itself from one empire to the next throughout history.
Through a golden apple.
I had something else to say, but I'll just say that the only way to have a world that is not a nightmare is to cut the head off of the snake so that it cannot slither from one empire to the next, and it is dead.
Damn. Kill the snake.
There cannot be an establishment of new power, and the power that exists must be destroyed. All power dead.
This is how we get Christians on board. You have to make it like a biblical thing. It has to be like, kill the serpent. Adam and Eve should have just killed the serpent. Don't try to... Yeah. Oh, Keith, don't try to take that golden apple. Just kill the serpent.
Just kill the serpent.
Ooh, what do we have over here? It looks like we're about to play the Pikmin 3 Deluxe demo. And we're going to close Snipper Clips. Huh?
Sparkle the Elf says, and us Canadians are watching on in horror. Like, okay, well, have fun with Mr. Blackface.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't speak for what that person meant specifically when they said that, but I know that Canada is certainly having its own fair share of problems right now. Ooh, that seems very loud. Ooh, look at this.
Sounds okay to me. Oh, right, Pikmin 3. I forgot what we were playing.
Yeah.
A good play. Why don't we, instead of changing the world, let's just make everyone small.
Let's just make everyone teensy tiny, please.
Please make us 1 inch tall.
So this, oh my God, this is the big addition right here. Finally, they had been teasing it. They had been meaning to put co-op into a Pikmin game and failing to do it by release for the past 2 games, and they finally had a second chance at one of them. But I guess I have to pick one player.
Wait, this isn't the first one with co-op?
It is. Isn't that fucked up? Isn't that nuts?
It seems like it's perfect. Yeah, it seems like the perfect co-op game.
Right. So maybe
I'll play this with Isaac.
Shit. I'll have to.
Spicy.
Okay, here's the thing. So Pikmin 3. What, you hate ultra spicy?
No, I hate having to unlock a higher difficulty by having to beat.
Totally agree. It's madness. You shouldn't do it. I just picked up Elite Beat Agents for the first time in years, and that game still slaps so hard, but they make you play through normal to get to hard, and then you have to play through hard to get to expert, and it's like, what are you doing, guys? Come on. And
well,
then
the good thing is Elite Beat
too.
Agents is one of the few games that I would want to play 3 times in a row.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
The planet's name, Kopai.
Okay.
Due to a booming population, booming appetites, and a basic lack of planning, Kopai's inhabitants have all but exhausted their food supply. Their only hope is to find another planet.
What a bunch of idiots. Why wouldn't you just plan better to not use up all the resources on your planet?
Called sparrows out into space.
Yeah, couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us. Yeah, so Pikmin 2, I don't know if they explicitly said, hey, this will have co-op, but they added a second playable character because they were obviously going to put in co-op, and then it just didn't have it.
Is it
and instead
Omar's taller brother?
His, co-worker, but yes. And so, yeah, Pikmin 2 was just a game where you switched between 2 characters, and there was no co-op, and then Pikmin 3 was just a game where you switched between 3 characters and there was no co-op. I'm pretty sure.
That's why I was like, there's got to be co-op. There's other characters.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain it was planned for both of them, and I don't know what happened.
I couldn't patch it in, by the way.
Well, at least now this time they're separated. Oh, I mean, you literally couldn't patch it in on the GameCube. Pikmin 3 was a Wii U game, so you could have.
Since we haven't said it yet, and since we're starting up Pikmin 3, why doesn't anybody who is able go to patreon.com/runbutton, aka contentburger.biz, sign up for our Patreon?
No,
and Kylie, actually, I think you have another thing to plug too. I just remembered.
Shit, I meant to plug this right up front. Shut the fuck up, Keith. I also meant to plug
this right up front. What? We're agreeing.
No, I was just like, I wanted to plug my thing.
Yeah.
And then Keith kept talking, and it just made me so upset.
Damn, yeah. Sorry for not letting you interrupt me. Anyway, go ahead.
I need new teeth, please. I went to a protest in May, and that protest turned into a riot. And listen, some people did some dumb things. It's not important who and what. But the point is, my mouth got smashed with a baseball bat, and I lost all my front teeth. And I have to pay many, many thousands of dollars to get new ones, because new teeth are cosmetic procedures, and my vanity knows no bounds. All right. So please.
I mean, I saw that in the actual text of the thing, but let's not.
What?
In the text, I mean, I don't want to undersell the importance of teeth.
Keith, I don't have any front teeth. Like, as in any of the ones that go in the front.
Right. You said my vanity knows no bounds. And I'm disagreeing with you. Oh. That's not vanity. You need teeth.
Keith, that's a joke.
I know. I'm just saying. I want to be clear for people.
Oh, yeah.
This is not about vanity.
No, yeah. I need to be able to, like, bite things.
Bite food. You need apples.
Yeah. So yeah, the vanity knows no bounds thing is a joke. I think it is extremely fucked up that this is being considered a cosmetic procedure. It's total lunacy.
Yeah. Do you have the URL for that? Do you have a special URL?
I meant to make a bit.ly URL before we started, but of course I forgot because I'm dumb. But you can go to twitter.com/Kylie Theodora, and my pinned tweet has a link to my fundraiser link. Fundraiser is the name of the site.
DVAC put it in the chat there. Thank you, DVAC. Hi, DVAC. And I'm gonna copy the link that DVAC already posted.
Why don't you go?
And I'm gonna put it in the YouTube Keith, as well. Yeah.
Actually, since I'm playing right now, would you mind going to bit.ly and just making like a
yeah, sure.
bit.ly/Kylie Teeth.
Kylie Teeth.
Kylie Teeth.
Yep. Kylie Teeth.
Ooh, strategy hints, huh?
Shorten.
I don't remember if those were in the original or not. Probably, I don't know. I don't...
How to do it, how to make my own one.
I don't know.
Do they not do that anymore?
No, they do. You might need an account now or something. TinyURL is another one.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. TinyURL.
Look at these little babies. So Pikmin is like one of my favorite game series. I think it's extremely underrated. Or it's not underrated as much as it's
the favorite, I thought.
Maybe. I think it's I guess it's a favorite within the gaming community, but it's not a mass market hit or whatever, as much as at least that's been my impression since Nintendo has seemed so reticent to make new Pikmin games over the years. Oh, here?
Okay, you may now go to tinyurl.com/Kylie Teeth.
Yay!
Not bit.ly because that seems to not work.
Thank you.
Did you know that bit.ly's website is bit.ly.com?
What?
Yeah, did you know that? I went to bit.ly and it forwarded itself to bit.ly.com.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Well, I guess it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. You're right. No, you're right. You were right the second time. Doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Once again, that's tinyurl.com/Kylie Teeth. And
Teeth.
Go there first.
No right stick control. Why?
I don't know.
Right stick control. Why?
Go there first, and then after you've gone there, go to contentburger.biz. Both of those have money that goes to Kylie and will eventually make its way to her teeth.
Calling all picks. Yes, and thank you so much to everybody who's donated so far. It's going pretty well.
It's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a massive help.
You are 38% of the way to your goal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In through 3 days, 2.5 days.
Yeah, like 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Do we want to? I know that you usually don't ever take these down, do a quick edit and re-upload them.
No,
you usually just put them live no matter what they're like.
I can do that this time.
Yeah. I mean, it's for you. And put a message at the beginning.
Oh wait, how do I move my picks around? Because now the right stick is the camera, but normally the right stick is move the picks. So there must be.
Can you change this in the?
I'm sure it's just like, oh, you hold R and then move the right stick or something. I just have to figure out what that is or something.
Yeah.
Because a moment ago I couldn't move the camera with the right stick, and then it gave me that ability. So clearly it's doing some kind of like slow introduction of the mechanics. I guess I'm sure everyone knows what's going on. I should have stated this explicitly.
No, I almost don't.
No. I mean that I'm sure people understand that this is a Switch re-release of Pikmin 3. We're playing this on the Switch right now. If you had been wondering what was going on,
they charging a full $60 for this.
They are charging a full $60 for this, and you know, frankly, you watching this probably didn't play Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, mostly because I don't think they made that many copies of it, but it's totally worth $60. It's a great game, and it seems like they've added some extra stuff in there. I guess co-op. I don't know.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. But I already have Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, and money's tight. Not a good time for me to be buying a deluxe version of a game I already own, so I'm just playing the demo right now. And actually, I started playing Pikmin 2 again last night because I finished Pikmin 1 for the first time last year, and so for like the past year, I had been kind of like playing with the idea of getting back to Pikmin 2. So that's what I'm doing. I'm channeling my Pikmin excitement from the release of Pikmin 3 Deluxe into playing Pikmin 2, a Pikmin game that's still just as good, but I already own. And then yeah, if I get someone to play co-op with, then maybe I'll buy Deluxe, and then I'll, yeah.
I have one more content idea. I remember a couple of weeks ago I pitched you 2 content ideas on a snooze button.
Okay, and I'll, yes, please tell me. But that reminds me of a content idea that you gave me nothing on, and I can't believe it. But just say your thing.
Okay. I not only do I have a premise, I also already have a name.
This is new.
Having a name, or having this thing follow you in a really stuttery way.
These arrows are new. Which is
the arrows that move, or in general,
just having arrows to tell you where to go is new in this game, I believe.
Do you like it? Do you like that change?
No, of course not. I'm a old school Pikmin jerk off from way back. You know this about me, so of course I hate any change that's been made.
There are no less than one old school Pikmin campaign runners.
Yeah. I genuinely, my feeling on Pikmin 3 is that it's the easiest of the 3 Pikmin games, so I don't see why you would need to make it easier, but of course that is the perspective of somebody who had played the first 2 Pikmin games by the time they played the 3rd one, so.
Sure. Look, you unstuck this little sputtering thing. I love it. I like how he talks. It's fun.
This is a different Pikmin mothership design than the first 2 games, and I could have sworn the 3rd one had the same design. So I don't know if I'm just forgetting that they updated it in 3, or if this is a new one for the deluxe
version.
Is
this potentially not even a mothership? Is that just like some other tertiary ship?
No, I think it's a mothership. I don't know.
It's pretty small for a mothership.
Well, Pikmin motherships are small. So there you go. But normally they're called onions, and they look like onions. This looks more like a strawberry, but that makes sense because this game's all about collecting fruit.
It does. I guess it does look like a strawberry. It kind of looks like a cherry with strawberry shit on it.
Ah!
Are those little strong friends carrying your rocks for you?
Yes! They're carrying ceramic tile chips so they can make a bridge.
They're so strong. Eventually they get exhausted and die, though, right?
No.
No, your Pikmin never get tired and just fade away?
They can only nobly sacrifice themselves for you in battle, or drown, or be electrocuted, or burned to death.
Why do they listen to you?
They love you so much.
Why?
Because you're strong and white and know better. I don't know.
Sounds extremely. This is Pikmin sus? Oh my god.
Come on, it's a video game. Of course it's sus.
I know, I'm kidding. Well, here's my content idea. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This one you'll find is tailored towards your original idea of wanting to do Twitch more.
Okay.
Because Twitch discoverability is good, and no one new has started listening to Run Button in a decade.
Right.
We have only the same people that started listening day one.
I know I say fairly enough, like, please tell your friends. Is that maybe we don't enough pair the sentiment of tell your friends with the fact that, like, our listenership has not grown in, like, many years?
Yeah, we have the same. We have been in the 13,000s
for years,
subscriber-wise,
literally
since
for years.
Since 2015, I think.
Wow.
So we pick one of the top 3 games on Twitch. Like we pick like one of the popular thing that people are streaming,
and then we stream
and it's called mainstream.
Ah!
And we just do whatever is popular on Twitch once a month.
Wow. Damn. You know I get hooked with a good title.
Yeah.
So okay, I like that. Let's do it.
Yeah, you like this?
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, we have always shied away from doing things that other people have done for two reasons. One, because it's like that's been done to death. Let's skip it. Part of it is because, well, that's a new game at $60. Let's skip it.
Sure.
And sometimes it's like,
but a lot of times those games are free anyways. How do I turn it around?
Yeah. But I think lampshading it with intentionally doing the most popular thing at the time is just enough ironic distance for me to be on board with it.
I usually love lampshading, so that's perfect for me.
Great. So that's my idea. Did you want to do a mini marathon thing for your fundraiser?
Yes, I do want to do a mini marathon thing for my fundraiser. That's a good idea.
An idea.
Oh,
I've got an idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Do Sonic Adventure 1 straight through, all the way through.
Fuck, that's a good idea. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, could I talk about my title-based run button content idea that I thought maybe I would at least get a reaction from you for this title. You gave me nothing.
Ooh, let's hear it.
The title was 50 Cent Cross Titanic, Flood on the Sand, A Journey Out of Rhyme. And just nothing from you.
I did see that, and it was good, and I just didn't respond. No real reason why.
All right.
So I didn't understand. Did you want to do a Let's Play of these two games at the same time?
I don't know. It basically
It was just a joke, right? It wasn't. You didn't want to do an episode. You don't want to have two simultaneous Patreon Let's Plays of 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand, and also Titanic and Adventure Out of Time.
No, I just wanted to see if I'd get a rise out of you from the title idea, but
no, I just thought it was funny and then ignored it.
Sure, yeah, that sounds about right. Why did
I was poo-pooing your idea of doing 50 Cent Blood on the Sands at all.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember now how that even occurred to me. Why did I think of? Oh my god! Oh right, that was not even my original title-based pitch for this series. It was originally that we should do 50 Cent co-op Blood on the Sand and call it A Relationship Should Be 50-50.
I like the Titanic split.
I know.
Split LP. Also, split LP. That's a thing in music, but not in Let's Plays. So maybe that's something.
I mean,
I feel like that people care enough about split LPs to watch a split LP.
I feel like I've been trying to pitch you on a split LP for years, more or less.
Doing two games at a time.
I remember. I mean, we kind of had planned to do one at some point, if you remember.
No.
So these little, if anyone's trying to follow and is not, these little color discs that I'm having my Pikmins collect, they bring it to their little mothership, and it gets converted into new Pikmin seeds.
All right, take it to my mothership. That's what you said.
Oh, remember we talked about. I think the idea was, it would be fun to do a Pokemon Nuzlocke, but Nuzlocks are very grindy. Pokemon's very grindy already. That could be a little boring, and I think the idea was like, let's do...
I've got to finish my Nuzlocke.
I think the idea was, let's do a Pokemon Let's Play where the main thing is a Nuzlocke run, but we will, if we're in a boring part of the Nuzlocke, we'll do a picture-in-picture with just like some other, like probably N64 era Pokemon game, like Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Snap. I think at least the idea was like, maybe we could like do a Nuzlocke, but bring our Pokemon back and forth into like Pokemon Stadium or something. It like we definitely had some idea of like.
I remember something with Pokemon Stadium. Yeah.
I think the part where we got tripped up was like
editing.
Well, yeah, it would have been edited. Yeah, we would have had to edit. It was also a thing where like, because we would be bringing them back and forth, it would mean we'd either have to do it fully on real hardware or do it fully in an emulator and find a way to like emulate the transfer pack that lets you bring the Game Boy Pokemon into the N64 game.
Right.
Which I believe exists. We just would have to actually do it.
Yeah. Robodendron says, what's the forecast on Myst 3 continuation? Well, funny story, we did have more of that, but was it Kylie, did you forget to hit the record button? Is that what happened?
Oh my god. Yeah. We
so we had like 2.5 hours.
No. I didn't forget. I did not forget. We did like 2.5 hours.
Chose not to.
And to be clear, this was like the beginning of the pandemic, like literally the beginning. This was months and months ago. It's not as if like, so we just did like a big recording session and forgot to hit record. And so that was out the window, which was fine because half of the video was us just like we loaded the wrong save file anyways. So we were just floundering and not figuring out where to go.
I don't think that was as long as you think. I thought that was a particularly, unfortunately, a particularly productive episode, I thought.
It was a little both. I think the first half of it, we made like literally no progress. Then I think at the end, we kind of made a little bit. I remember what it was. We finished one world and we finished the third world. And we said, the third world, we're done with the main part of the game. Now it's whatever the end game is. But the end game we couldn't figure out how to trigger the end game. And it was because we found out that before going into the third world, we reloaded a save file where we had not finished the second world yet. And so we actually still had not finished all three worlds. Like we had finished all three worlds, but separately.
Oh, no. It's a weird kind of pop. It's been going on for a while, but I thought it was maybe on my end.
No,
it's not. It's not that you're peaking. It's that like it almost sounds like your XLR is being weird. Or like there's just like a cable-y kind of pop happening. Like a.
How about what do we feel like now? Is this okay?
Talk again?
Hey, here's me. I'm talking.
No, it's happening more.
Oh, it's.
Yeah, whatever you're doing is triggering it. Yep.
Hello. How do I sound?
Good.
Great. Yeah, it was my XLR.
Oh. Nope, it's happening again.
I will get a new XLR. And
I gave you one, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch. And I need to use the bathroom. So you just say something for a minute.
Okay. What do I say? Didn't mean to talk about politics at the front so much. I had like games I wanted to talk about and TV that I've been watching, but I guess that's fine. I guess that's what happens on Run Button sometimes. For anybody just joining now, a reminder that URL was tinyurl.com/Kylie Teeth to donate to the fundraiser for Kylie's smashed up teeth. And if you've already given to that, another great way to support her and both of us throughout the year is contentburger.biz, our Patreon, patreon.com/runbutton. You can just put in a little bit and it'll come right out every month. And that'll go to the two of us, and I mean, for now it'll go pretty much directly. Half of it will go directly towards Kylie's operation. So, let's see. Let's look at the chat. What's going on here? Robodendron, yeah, this is exactly it. I feel like I'm the kind of person that has to take a few months off of a game if I lose major save data. Yeah, it's pretty psychically damaging, and it's also tough to be like, hey, I pulled my mic out of the stand. I was trying to angle it upwards. I pulled it out of the stand. It's also like tough to be like, hey, and I pressed the button on my soundboard here. Hey, John and Jordan, do you want to spend 2.5 hours replaying this section of the game that you replayed, or that we played before? And another thing is that for no real reason anyway, it's been really annoying to get Steam or to get Myst working. It just always seems like there's problems. So, although Kylie's gotten a lot better at setting up the voice meter stuff, so it's been better recently.
Ooh, what have I gotten better at?
I was talking about Robodendron was talking about how psychically damaging it is to lose major save progress in a game like Myst, and I was like, yeah, it's that plus like Myst has been or like with Myst we also have to like ask John and Jordan to sit through 3 hours of a game that they've already sat through, and like that, and then also Myst had also been really annoying to set up for the last few sessions, except that you're getting better at.
Yeah.
Like, you've locked down in the last session or two the way that we get the game and the video, and also your internet's better than it was. So a lot of our Myst problems have been solved.
Yeah, I think the last time I
Ooh, bad news, it's still happening.
Oh, same cable actually. I was hoping that if I readjusted it would. This is the one you gave me, by the way, but of course, I guess no real surprise because it's like a 90-degree bend cable, and those are always garbage.
Mine's been fine.
Yeah.
Is it possibly a cable somewhere else in the chain?
Yes.
Let's do some. Do you want to do some wiggling?
No, let's try a new XLR first.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. Didn't mean. At least Kylie's going to edit this one to add the thing in the front. We should note that... Ooh, how far in are we? YouTube will know. Oh, YouTube doesn't know.
How does this sound?
Kylie, you should make a note. You should make a note that this should be when you do the beginning thing, when you add in the fundraiser link at the beginning. However long into it we are,
I can actually just well, I mean, you were talking for a lot of it, so I'm not sure how much I can actually cut out, but I can just search for the part of the video that's just paused for a really long time.
Yeah, fair. Still happening, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Let's go until it happens again, because maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Oh, by the way, you're looking at the chat, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Could someone in the chat please point out if you are hearing the thing that Keith is hearing? Because it is possible it's only like on his end through Discord or something, or specifically through voice meter.
It hasn't happened.
Okay.
Hasn't happened. That whole time you were talking, it didn't happen.
All right. How do I disband these Pikmins? Ah.
People are saying that it hasn't been happening. I'm not having any other audio that is doing this, so okay. I find it hard to believe that it's just on my end this is happening.
Well, you're getting my mic through voice meter and no one else is, so it could be that.
Possible, yeah.
Oh, interesting. I can't remember if that was in the original or not. A charge attack. It's basically like, it seems like here in Pikmin 3 or Pikmin 3 Deluxe, you have like an affirmative like, hey, attack this thing command, which you used to just have to like manually control your Pikmin into something. You know, like when you move the little right stick, your little Pikmin would scamper around like kind of within 5 feet of you. And it was really adorable. They would always have little trumpet sounds like.
Yeah, that was very cute. Here's the mothership.
Cute. Hey, no, that's this guy's mothership.
But this one is so much bigger than ours.
Well, No, the strawberry ship. That's the Pikmin's ship. This ship is this guy's ship. Alp's ship. Yeah. Brittany. So at the end of Pikmin 2, Keith, at the end of Pikmin 2, Captain Olimar goes missing. And so you do not play as Captain Olimar in Pikmin 3. In fact, I don't think they explicitly say the story is about looking for Captain Olimar, but I'm sure you encounter him at some point.
Sure.
It was weird, like the first couple years of the Switch. I mean, I guess they're still doing it, re-releasing every Wii U game that was good on the Switch.
That's such a funny thing to have to do.
I know. It's so like, and it's weird because like as someone who owned a Wii U, it is slightly frustrating that a lot of the big Nintendo releases have just been re-releases, but at the same time, it still has been kind of fun because those games are genuinely great and not a lot of people played them, so at least all my friends are like playing them for the first time.
It's funny that it's like they have decided that the problem with the Wii U was essentially the hardware.
No, well,
and that
I would argue
no
it was
one bought the hardware.
Yeah, it was. I would. Yeah, you're right. It had their. Yes, that is. Sorry, you're right.
And because they're like, well, we've got all these good games for the Wii U. Let's just make some new hardware and put out all those games again.
I was gonna say like, no, the Switch hardware was good, which it was, but I guess I was gonna say it was more a marketing issue, but I guess that's the same idea, right? Is like nobody buying the Wii U because they thought it was something they didn't want, when mostly it was just a regular game console that had really good Nintendo games on it.
It was a regular. It came out at a weird time. It was underpowered. People perceived it as underpowered.
It was. It was. It was only. It hilariously benefited from that idea. It was fun because it was the first system of what was then current gen levels of power, but applied to Nintendo games. So it was still. It made the Wii U feel more powerful than it was because it was the first time you saw like Mario look that nice or whatever.
And well, then the other thing was, I think people looked at the controller and were just like, no thanks.
Yeah, and also there was the problem of people thinking it was literally millions of people thinking that it was an add-on for the Wii. Right. So they would go, my Wii, I don't play it. Why would I want to just add a controller with a screen on it to this system I already don't play? No thanks.
And then, and I guess there's the tertiary problem, which is that the problem with the Wii U was the hardware for the Wii U, but also the software for the Wii.
Because the software for the Wii was bad. Yeah.
It was a trash. It was a place where you put your trash.
Yeah.
And so,
including if you were Nintendo.
Right, a bunch of people that don't play games bought a Wii U because it was Nintendo, and then all the games that they got for it were trash because all the games on it were bad.
Okay, so we have to get the Cosmic Drive key back to our ship so that we can get home before we starve to death.
Yeah.
So this game is about collecting fruit to give you fruit juice to keep you alive long enough to get home.
But I thought we didn't want to be home because home is where there's no food.
Well, there's more food than... Well, I guess the idea is I guess we don't want to go home, but we do need to be able to go home if we need food? You're right. Maybe I don't know.
Yami in the chat says Sony really nailed it with quote, it's the PlayStation 5 because it's the 5th PlayStation. Which I think is true. Gotta hand it to Sony.
It is.
Sony is the only company out there putting out video game hardware with names that make any sense.
Yeah, when
Switch is okay.
I have to say, like, first of all, they're still calling this an onion, which I think is specious. But, I will say when I first heard the name PlayStation 2, I thought it was hilariously bad. Especially because I already didn't like the name PlayStation very much because it, like, honestly, there was one, the Christmas after PlayStation came out, I went to school and they were like, let's all go around and if anyone wants to share what gifts they got over the holidays. And like everyone was like, I got a Sony PlayStation. And when I heard that, the only thing I could imagine was like one of those like plastic Fisher-Price workbench play areas like for little kids. Like that's what a PlayStation sounds like to me.
Well, but it's not that kind of station. It's a TV station.
I know.
You have to go to your line input.
No, wrong.
Really?
See, even you don't know why it's called that. It's a play on workstation. Like a computer that is for working on, that's a workstation. But this is a PlayStation. This is a
computer that you play on, so it's a PlayStation.
Yeah.
I always thought it was
like a
TV station, but PlayStation.
I've never even considered that, but that's a great idea.
Because you had to go to channel 3 or maybe the line channel.
No, but you know what console is named for that? And it's
GameCube.
It is I believe it is the first cartridge-based console, and it is a game system I primarily care about only because of its name, and the name is the Fairchild Channel F.
Ooh.
The F stands for fun or Fairchild. Who knows? But yeah, the Channel F is totally named after the idea that it's a channel on your TV.
Oh, I know the Fairchild. Why do I know about it?
From me, probably.
Yeah, probably. Did the guy who invented it die recently? Did the guy who invented cartridge games die recently?
I think you're right. That must have been like why it was on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
What a good game.
Jerry, no. He didn't die recently. He did die. Jerry Lawson did die, but he died 9 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, it might have been the anniversary of his death back in April.
Okay. But that's a 9-year anniversary. So, ooh, nectar.
Yeah, couldn't tell you. But I do believe I read about Jerry Lawson like 6 months ago. So, anyway, talk about stuff. Let's talk about normal run button stuff.
This was my thing. You want some normal run button stuff? Not only is this okay, it's about it. This is hitting all of the run button things. It's a podcast. It's about media properties that we talk about all the time, and it's something we already talked about last week. I listened to all of Just King Things.
It's a great show, right?
It's so good. Yeah,
so good.
Just King Things is a fantastic Stephen King read-through podcast. Yeah, very good. I'm excited that this exists, and I'm excited to read along with it.
You should listen to some of the other Range Touch stuff.
Yeah, I listened to a few episodes of Game Study Buddies.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
Frankly, I just had a real hard time keeping up with it. They are very smart and very college educated, and I am maybe arguably only one of those things.
Because which one?
I'm not college educated.
Well, you're like slightly college educated.
No, I'm like literally not though. I only went to I did some community college programming and algebra classes, and that's it. I mean, basically, Game Study Buddies is them. It's basically just them continuing the stuff they were studying in college for fun, and so they're kind of like drawing upon, I feel like, a lot of pre-established knowledge in just like the space in which they are operating for that show, and that is a brand new space for me, and it's very foreign to me. So anyways, those two people doing a podcast that's only about Stephen King books is obviously perfect for me.
Right. Yeah. What are your takes on it?
Well, my takes on it so far, I think only so far I've only disagreed with them on the extent to which they enjoy Salem's Lot.
Right, which I agree. I think is very good.
Yeah, I had some more time, especially listening to that episode, of course. Oh, a specific type of Pikmin. I had much more time to ponder on what it was that I didn't like about Salem's Lot. I think it's I think the main problem I have with that book is I don't find the main character Ben Mears or his love interest very interesting or compelling at all. I feel like they feel like very obvious. Like, I guess this hadn't occurred to me until I heard Michael and Cameron say it on the podcast. But it's, like Ben Mears is like a self-insert, and then then the romantic interest is just a girl that Stephen King is interested in.
Isn't that 85% of Stephen King characters?
Yes, I know. It doesn't make sense, but I'm trying to remember. Salem's Lot is a vampire novel in which vampires don't show up. Vampires are not explicitly mentioned until the halfway point of the novel, which means like if you're going to be noodling about for the first half of your book, there's got to be some interesting stuff happening, and I just don't feel like there is in Salem's Lot. I think the main character is very boring.
I disagree when I get it. I mean, I do kind of think that Ben is kind of boring, but I disagree that but I understand that as a reason why you wouldn't like Salem's Lot.
And I'm also thinking again about the where am I going now?
I can't remember how much percentage of it is not Ben, but is actually from the kids' perspective. But I don't remember. It's like
that
a pretty good amount.
But boy, listening to them discuss those 3 books in a row, hard to overstate what an unbelievable 1, 2, 3 Stephen King output with those books.
Carry the Shining,
Carry Salem's Lot and The Shining.
Yeah.
For as much as I personally don't care that much for Salem's Lot, I can still recognize what's great about it and the cultural impact that it had. And Carrie and The Shining are 2 of the most recent Stephen King books that I've read, so I guess that's playing a part, but those are probably my 2 favorite Stephen King books at this point.
Yeah.
So I recommend those. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about that. Did you listen to that episode?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess you know the story now at this point, but yeah, it's a good book.
I already knew the story. I knew literally everything that happens in that book. I mean, not everything, but I know the entire if you were to give someone a plot synopsis, spoilers included, of The Shining, I've known what happens in that book forever.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I didn't feel like listening to it without reading it would ruin the book for me.
Yeah, obviously I know just through cultural osmosis because of the Kubrick movie. I know the basic plot of family in abandoned hotel, father goes crazy or whatever. Though I would say I'm actually more positive on that book than Cameron and Michael were, just because I find the main character is supposed to be unlikable on purpose, but I think I find that character in general more compelling than they did.
I thought they were very positive on.
They were. No, they totally were. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I like The Shining so much that I would even a bit more positive on that. I think they put Carrie at number 1 and The Shining right below that in terms of books they've read for the podcast so far, and I might reverse those, but I also really liked Carrie.
You should listen to. We have access to the Range Touch Patreon, which includes bonus episodes. Have you listened to those?
I haven't. I didn't know about them until they mentioned them on the most recent one, so I'll go listen to them.
Yeah,
now.
They're good. They do the 2012 Carrie remake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they do the Salem's Lot sequel movie, Return to Salem's Lot, and then they do the Shining Stephen King miniseries, which was such a fucking good episode.
Oh, really?
I cannot overstate how good the Ranged Touch Patreon episode on them doing the Stephen King miniseries. I think that might be my favorite single episode of the whole thing.
How do you feel about this small boy being rocked to his core at seeing a fruit as unthinkably monstrous and massive as a strawberry?
If this giant thing really is fruit,
if it could be conceived that this is sweet matter that we could consume, all our problems are solved.
So anybody that's listened to Just King Things but has not checked out the Patreon episodes, I cannot speak highly enough of the miniseries. The Shining miniseries episode was just
cool,
extremely good.
Probably because that miniseries was so good, right?
Well.
Oh, did they have interesting things to say about it?
Okay. Oh, they did have very interesting things to say about it.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess they must have because you said it was a good episode, but also, you know, they.
I would not call their. I do not think they had an extremely positive.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that they. That was not. Let's call it the third best way to experience the story of The Shining.
Sure. Yeah.
The thing you really get a look at like,
wait, what did it just call
Stephen
that?
King at the absolute height of his fame, pretty much, or maybe like maybe not the absolute height, but the
height of his power.
The beginning of the decline of his fame, I guess, is really what I'd call it.
Oh, sure, yeah. Pikmin you. Nice.
But Stephen King's good. People should read some Stephen King, I think.
Clear way in which they've improved the deluxe version here over the original is in that little sequence when you would see the juice fall into the bottle.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that is using some kind of like fluid dynamic system that was clearly not optimized at all, and the frame rate would just take an absolute nosedive every time the Wii U poured juice into a bottle, and that doesn't happen this time, which is nice.
I've been watching a TV show that I actually have been seen going around Twitter in the last month or two.
Oh.
But I've been watching it slowly since the beginning of the pandemic. I tweeted about it a bit in April. But I've been watching, I can't remember if I talked about this, but I've been watching the UK television program, The Taskmaster.
No.
Have I talked about this?
No.
It's extremely good. It's one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen at this point.
What is this?
Sort of like,
explain this show to me, for it shall die by my hand.
It is in the vein of British panel shows, the genre of television show that existed extremely widespread in the UK, but basically extinct in the US, although we used to have them decades ago, which if you haven't seen any of these, it's like, imagine a quiz show or a game show, but it's just like a lot of comedians or celebrities doing it for fun.
Extremely weird that we don't really have those in America, because they're pretty much popular everywhere else. And I know
and they're such a good genre.
I know it's so. I bet people that have just grown up their whole lives immersed in panel shows think it's bizarre to be like, ooh, panel show is a good format. But like for trash junk reality television, it's like one of the least objectionable, I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's even very good sometimes.
It can
be.
Yeah, QI is good. Sure.
QI is good. Say what you want about Stephen Fry. I say he's a blowhard. But,
yeah.
But I do really like QI, and I really like a bit of Fry and Laurie. Not a panel show, but gotta get it out there. That's best. One of the best.
I think I recently saw a clip from that was very funny.
Yeah,
probably from you.
It was on Hulu, I think. Maybe it still is, but it's the best sketch show that's ever been made, I think.
Rock Pikmins. Wow, the best.
They're so cute. Look at them. I love these guys.
You're giving me a funny look.
Taskmaster is sort of a long form game show. It's the same contestants over the course of 10-ish episodes.
Oh.
And it's hosted by comedian Greg Davies and created by his assistant Alex Horn. And they are basically, he is playing a character who has all of these tasks that he wants done. And these 5 comedians' jobs are to do these extremely odd tasks. And then they are edited together and they watch them and then are judged for these tasks. And they the goal is to, over the course of the series, win as the most points. And the tasks could kind of be anything. And so just a few early ones that I really enjoyed when I was
real quick,
first...
just look at these adorable idiots that break things by just charging straight into them with their dumb rock heads.
And then falling backwards.
Yeah.
So the tasks could really be anything. They could be physical, they could be mental, they could be emotional, they could be creative. Like one that I really liked was you have to get as much information from this man who will only speak to you in Swedish. So here's a list of questions that you need to get the answers to, but you don't speak Swedish and he will only speak in Swedish to you. And it's really about the different personalities of the comedians and like learning the ways that they approach tasks. It sort of reminds me of like do you know when you read stories of like oh, we've learned that crows are able to solve problems in this way, like, oh, you give a crow a puzzle and the crow will solve this simple puzzle, and you get to learn that, but these are human comedians.
What type of crows they are, how this crow tends to go about problem solving.
Right. So you'll have people who cleverly try to think laterally and come up with some like loophole that isn't excluded by the rules to sort of do a task very well and very easily, but maybe not quite in the spirit of the task. And then you have someone that just immediately starts scrambling to accomplish something as quickly as possible. It's and then like the sort of like play act, like the sort of the narrative layer of Greg Davies has decided that these things are very important, and he will get mad at you for not doing them well enough, or be extremely impressed that you were able to like get these 3 beach balls to the top of a big hill while it was windy and keep them there.
So real quick, each day in Pikmin is timed, and we're close to the end of the day, and any Pikmin that aren't either in their ship or within this bubble by the end will be eaten by predators. So we have to do that. Though I do want to, just break this. Why not?
You need your rock guys, huh?
Yeah. Good job, rock guys. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't say enough. I was watching, so I watched like the first like 6 seasons of it. Back in like April and May, and then gave it a break and started watching more of it this week. And it's just so good. I saw some of the best television I've ever seen today, and I'm gonna spoil this one task for people who might want to watch this, but it's worth it. The last challenge is always a live head-to-head thing. These are all it's pre-taped over the course of months, each task individually, but the last one is always like a live head-to-head in front of the audience, and they're usually the more convoluted ones, and they're kind of like the zaniest thing that happens typically. But this one was
now it's more of an onion shape.
Oh, it was more like an onion seed before.
Different colored onions confused into a single onion. That makes sense, because I was seeing that rock onion and going, where's that thing gonna go? They're not gonna start having landing sites with 5 onion spots. That's too many.
That makes sense. Comedian Jo Brand, who you might know, she's on panel shows all the time. She's been on QI a bunch. They were doing. Here was the task. The task was, Greg Davies is going to have a hidden picture of either a horse or a laminator, and you have to guess whether he has chosen the horse or the laminator. Typically, you get 5 points for winning, 1 for losing, and then the people in between get the in-between points. And 5 is like the maximum, but they've decided you can go theoretically forever. As long as you keep guessing whether it's a horse or a laminator, we will not cut you off. Once you lose once, you're out.
So
and Joe Brand, who was in last place for the episode,
and she was on QI all the time, right?
Yeah. Just kept getting them. Just kept guessing right. It was unbelievable. Each time she would.
How do you?
You can ask questions, but Greg can lie. You can just guess.
Wait,
do you think he picked horse or laminator?
I don't understand. Explain the horse and laminator thing again. I thought you were.
Imagine one person has like a battleship style, like hidden board.
Okay.
And then on that board, he can either put a picture of a horse or a laminator. And then Joe Brand everyone had to guess whether he had chosen horse or laminator. And when they guess right, they get to go again and again and again. It's a coin toss. You basically got a 50-50 chance. You can ask questions, but he can lie. So who fucking knows? She got 13.
Wow. Okay. I thought.
And I just.
Okay, sorry, but when you explained that, I thought you said they would show a picture of a horse or a laminator, and you would have to say which it was. And I thought
no.
I thought the joke was the joke was it's really obvious, and it's more about how long are you gonna keep doing this until you just give up and decide you lose.
Oh well, if it had been that, Joe Brand would have just given up immediately because she's extremely
she doesn't care. Yeah.
She's extremely not there for doing something for a long time.
Which it's probably the power of how she got 13 in a row. The power of not caring that much.
It was unbelievable. I just can't. I mean, I didn't calculate the odds, but
the twins from the BioShock Infinite would love to tell you what the odds of that were. 100%.
Just some unbelievable television. Just really fucking good.
That sounds good. That sounds like a show I want to watch. So yeah,
it's really fun. It's really fun to watch people come up with like ways to break the rules without breaking the rules. And the ways that you can like it's about trying to think outside the box, but be careful that you don't think too much outside the box,
right?
Because then you get no points.
This is a good demo, by the way. This is a meaty demo we've got going on here.
This is a substantial demo.
Yeah, like this. Get out of there! Charge! All of them charge!
This frog does not seem really like it's trying to get you.
You know, it is the first level. They don't want to overwhelm people. Oh no, get out of there! Oh, the rock Pikmin? I thought the rock Pikmin were done for, because when big beefy enemies in Pikmin, when they squash your guys, that's it, right? But this time, the rock Pikmin, they're rocks. They can't get squished. So instead they just got mushed into the ground. And I like that. That's good job, rock Pikmin.
Taskmaster, by the way, pretty much all of it on YouTube. Regular YouTube for free, so you can just go watch it.
Oh, nice.
I think my favorite seasons might be seasons 2 and 3. I think season 1 is also pretty good, but just really good. Just a really good show.
Cool. I mean, it's 1 o'clock. We've been going 2 hours, so we are right up on it if we feel like we're...
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Video... Oh. Okay, shit. This is
Look at all these rocks you've got.
Look at all these rocks I've got. This is a dangerous topic, because this is a video game topic. This is something we might be able to pull out an hour on, so maybe... But I have to mention it. Apparently... the PS5s are out there for press. Apparently people are really liking the triggers on that DualSense. You heard about that? Because you know what they do,
I hadn't
right?
heard anybody saying specifically about the triggers. No, what is
Do you know what the triggers do?
You press them down, and usually it fires a fake gun, a video game gun.
Okay, all right, okay. Oh, we got a comedian here, everybody. Oh, Keith's on stage. He'll be here all week. Let's see if the rocks. I mean, they're rocks. They're not gonna. Oh! Woo! Okay. Rocks can be electrocuted in this universe, and now we know. Can rocks be electrocuted in real universe? I guess rocks can be made of metal. I mean, rocks are metal. I mean, if they're the right kind of rock. So, right?
Rocks can be made of metal? Yes. You can have a metallic rock, yeah.
I know. I said right like I was asking you for confirmation. I was really just trying to include you in the conversation. You know how we do. Anyways, these triggers.
I do appreciate it.
Do you remember when they talked about the force feedback triggers on the Xbox One, and people thought like it would be able to like stop the movement of the trigger?
Yeah.
Like apparently that is what this thing does. So like if your gun jams, the trigger like won't pull. And like
if your gun what video game has guns jamming?
You would have to make a video game where your gun jams, but like you can change the throw of the triggers can be changed on the fly, supposedly, I believe. Like if I'm not totally misunderstanding this, which sounds amazing to me. And also, it basically sounds like they took the two things that everyone thought that Nintendo's and Microsoft's controllers were going to do last gen and did them for real, because apparently it also has like a haptic feedback thing, kind of like HD Rumble, except it's actually good and works and isn't total bullshit garbage like the Joy-Cons. It sounds really cool. I'm pretty.
How much are the controllers gonna be? Controllers are already like $80.
Yeah, I don't know. I will. Controllers are. I think of controllers as being $60. Am I wrong about that?
I think you're wrong.
I could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
Let's go to GameStop.com and look up a price of a PS4 controller.
Could be 70. It's definitely not 80, but it could be 70.
Is that oh, these are pre-owned. Pre-owned. That Glacier White, oh, pre-owned. Why? Oh, they're all pre-owned because it's GameStop and they only want you to buy something pre-owned.
Why? It said I could disband with Y, but I'm pushing Y and that's not what's happening. Oh, okay.
I hit condition new, and now it's showing me ones that have both the label new and the label pre-owned.
It just means that you can get them, if you can get that controller in either flavor.
Right.
These guys spit fire, but red Pikmin are immune to fire.
Nice. Because they're red.
Because they're red. That actually wasn't added until Pikmin 2, I think. Pikmin 2 kind of added some more stuff to differentiate them, so there was like... I think... Like, yellow Pikmin are immune to both electricity and... poison gas? No, that's white Pikmin, never mind. I think maybe the only thing that was special about yellow Pikmin in Pikmin 1 was that they could hold bombs and that you could throw them real high because they were lighter. And then I think Pikmin 2 added that they were immune to electricity.
Okay, PS4 controllers, the black ones are 60 and any other color is 65. I think they might have gone down because I think that they used to be higher than that.
I think they used to be 70. You might be right. They're definitely not worth $80 or $70, that's for sure.
They're barely worth anything. They're plastic with like $4 worth of electronics in them.
Sure. It's that touchpad, Keith. That very expensive touchpad that was put to great use.
But you know what is $80? A pair of Joy-Cons.
A pair of Joy-Cons, yeah. It at least makes sense. They at least have to have 2 wireless transmitters, right? Like, there is actually something.
Sure.
But,
skeptical, but sure.
What am I saying? Goof
Troop says $70 for PS5 controller. Oh, so only only a sixth more expensive than the already outrageously priced controllers.
Yeah.
Controllers should cost less than a new game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, just think of it this way. People want to buy a controller so that they can buy more games and play new games with them.
Yeah.
Like, let people fucking play your console.
Yeah.
Like, don't charge people an arm and a leg for. I guess it's not keeping anyone from playing games. Except I would have, if Joy-Cons were cheaper. If Joy-Cons were cheaper, I'd have another set of them at least. So I know that it stopped me from buying controllers in the past. The price.
I don't drown, right? I have a helmet. Can I get up here? That's not helpful to me at all. Why would you even say that to me, you stupid idiots?
Sparkle the Elf says, my understanding is the controllers are making up for the fact that the consoles are sold at a loss.
Right.
Don't blame me for their goofy fucking pricing shit. Charge people what the console costs.
That's their decision. Also, that's not... the consoles aren't really sold at a loss anymore either, so it's not even really true. But yeah,
well, we speculated about that a few weeks ago, but we don't actually know what the PS5 costs, right?
No, I mean, but oh, come on, get over there. Come on, you. No, don't go over here. All right, maybe I shouldn't have thrown you over here. But then again, it sure did put an X right there, didn't it? So
it says go this way. There's an arrow right there, yeah.
This is not the hints I want. Fuck off. That's a useless hint to me. Why would you give me that? Oh, maybe I need yellow Pikmin to get through here? I don't know. No, they put a motherfucking arrow right here. So
this International Business Times article is from February, but this is reporting that that Sony is preparing to sell their console at a loss.
Oh, okay.
But this is from February where we didn't know pricing.
Yeah. Well, they might be selling at a, like, if we are perceiving that maybe the rocks, I mean, breathing underwater is blue Pikmin shit, so I assume rocks can't do that, but I mean, I might as well try.
If I was a rock, I could breathe underwater.
Yeah, if I was a rock, I could. I mean, if I were a rock, I could not breathe underwater, but I wouldn't need to because I'd be a rock. Anyways, that was the thing. I think those triggers sound really exciting. I think a trigger that can change the way that trigger feels dynamically is pretty cool and exciting for video games. My only disappointment is that I can't have those triggers for Halo Infinite. Get back over here. You have to call your Pikmin back to save them from drowning.
We don't know, do we? We don't know about
yeah,
Xbox.
We do. Yeah, it's not going to have anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
what
fine.
I'm really curious about is going to see like how this is implemented, or if this is just some 6-axis bullshit.
How?
Right.
Like. Okay. I'm just gonna tell them to go in the water. Just come in the water. Oh, they're not gonna. So, okay. I mean, oh, nope. All right, okay, you're just doing it now. Come on, idiots. Yep, over here. Yep, nope. Oh, okay, no, don't. All right, goodbye. You know, Pikmin.
Did you kill a bunch of Pikmin?
Pikmin, they live a tough existence, you know, and these Pikmin are going to be left out because what can I do? The game did this to me. The game did this to these Pikmin. Couldn't have been me. What a cruel world it is out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to our spaceship fortress.
Is there any news on stock for these fucking consoles that they just obviously didn't make enough of?
I mean, define make enough of. Like, for what? Like, what? I don't know. Do people want? I can't even tell. People want these, I guess. I'm seeing art. I'm looking to see if there's anybody that actually knows whether the PS5 is being sold at a loss or not. I mean, it's
just because I'm curious.
Yeah. I would imagine it must be, because we had been hearing that one was going to be really expensive, and they ended up matching Microsoft's Series X price, which I feel like came in $100 lower than even people were expecting. And I feel like if Sony's price matching them, they must be at a loss. And Microsoft probably is as well. And my Pikmin got eated.
This is saying from ungeek.ph, who knows what that is saying more PS5s have been sold in 12 hours than the PS4 sold in its first 12 weeks. That sounds wrong. That doesn't sound real.
The only thing I can think is if people... I mean, I don't know. If like
Are they going to be really disappointed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's what buying a console at launch is.
Disappointment.
Pretty much.
Well, disappointment if you don't have realistic expectations, which people who buy consoles day one typically do not.
It's true, yeah. And there's our little line dips there right at the end.
Oof, rough. Well, is that it for us?
That's it for us, and that's it for Snooze Button. Come on back next week.
Once again, you can go to tinyurl.com/Kylie Teeth to donate to Kylie's teeth.
Wow, okay. All right, Alf is taking some responsibility for his mistakes.
Feel terrible. A nicer guy than Olimar.
And as somebody who had no hand in the mistake that Alf made, I'm proud of him for owning 100% of that responsibility, and I want him to try harder in the future. You know? Yeah. But hey, that's just me.
I can't wait for all of my apps to stop giving me notifications reminding me to go vote.
Oh man.
I'm getting every day. It's like Grubhub wants you to know that you should go vote. And it's like, fuck off, Grubhub.
Hey, want to know something fun? I went to do early voting on Friday. Last day of early voting, my fault. But anyways, I showed up at 2 p.m. and found out that they closed at 12 noon. 8 to 12 noon was the only time that they were open. And it was last day, and so now I have to go vote in person.
Gosh, it's almost like they don't want you to vote.
It's almost like they don't want you to vote, but that can't be right.
Good luck with your voter roll even being intact.
My what?
Like that you're on the rolls to vote. Last time I went to vote.
Oh, that's never happened to me.
Oh, it happened to me last time I went to vote. Last time I went to vote, they said, "No, you're not on here."
Oh, you know what? Why? Yeah, that might happen because I just registered at my new address recently. drive.google.com is where I wanted to go. I think
they were like, you're not registered anymore, because I went to vote. There was ballots initiatives that I wanted to go vote on. I wasn't voting for any candidates. I don't vote for candidates anymore.
Statewide ranked choice voting is on the Massachusetts ballot.
I saw, yeah. So that's an interesting one.
Not bad.
They also had one of my a tertiary pet issue of mine was on the ballot. There was a right to repair initiative on there.
Oh, sure. That's cool.
You gonna vote? I think it's I think all the good ones are yes. I think it's yes on everything.
I actually I don't believe in the right to repair, so I'm actually gonna vote against that one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think people should be.
The specific initiative is that if you have basically, like, if you have a computer that controls how your car works, you have to give all that information to consumers, and you have to let consumers edit that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
I will.
It's like if you it's like
so I can get max boost for every time I slam someone into the wall.
I think there's a story about like a guy who wanted to fix his like Dodge or something.
Okay.
And couldn't because he was in a concrete.
I love you.
Garage,
Go.
So there was no L signal.
Vote, I guess. What else you got to do?
I'm not voting, so don't don't go vote.
Just go vote.
Kylie says go vote. I'm saying don't go vote. It cancels each other out, so just do fucking whatever you want.
Just do fucking whatever you want.
It'll suck either way. Let me know when there's a people's army. Is this song over?
Gonna go get blitzed and forget about everything in the world for 30 minutes.
Go to contentburger.biz. Do it.
tinyurl.com/KylieTeeth.